What's going on, everybody? It's Q Jackson, host of BLK Talk. Look, I was over here preparing for another amazing episode, but look, I need you guys to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell so that you guys don't miss any of our amazing conversations. Have a new episode coming to you in five, four, three, two, one.
What's going on, everybody? It's Q Jackson, host of BLK Talk, and I'm back with another amazing conversation with somebody I've known for, at this point, over 10 years.
Yeah.
My guy, I'm sorry, not Tedii. That's how I know. Mr. Thomas Dudley is how the business world knows this man. When I first met this guy, he was into music. Behind the scenes, putting stuff together, making great music. And now this man is making entrepreneurs. He is building generational wealth. He's, an asset to his community, and he's doing some amazing things. So guys, please welcome Mr. Thomas Dudley, aka Tedii, to BLK Talk.
What's up, man? I'm here. Here my brother, man.
Yes, like we finally had the opportunity to make this happen. We've been talking about it for years.
Yes.
Because has it been 5 years yet since you've opened the driving school?
8.
Damn.
8 years now. 8 years. So hold on, I'm gonna start this off too.
Damn, that's it.
I have to publicly apologize to my brother. Because he was with me in the beginning when I was first moving out to Atlanta and stuff, and I was supposed to do this interview a long time. So I have to, I have integrity with stuff, so I gotta apologize to my brother because we were supposed to do this.
You know what? I appreciate that, but what I will say is it happened when it was supposed to happen. When we first met, I was with, was it B Magazine?
Yes.
Years ago.
Yeah, B Magazine.
I
remember that.
You didn't fully develop into who you are now back then. So now we have a history and we have plenty of things we can talk about. Like, you got a lot of experience going on.
Yeah, man, a lot going on.
Yeah, so for the people who may be unfamiliar, tell them about Thomas Dudley, and then we're going to talk about Tedii.
Oh, man. So Thomas Dudley, entrepreneur, business owner. I have a CDL school in Virginia. It's the first Black-Owned CDL School in Virginia. We have that, and also our driving school legacy has been around for about 63 years now. It started with my grandmother back in 1959. So that's what I'm focused on now. I also have a trucking business as well. I'm just building. I got another course coming out too as well. I'm actually gonna start showing people how to open up a CDL school as well. So if you're interested, that's coming.
So we were just having like a brief conversation about like the CDL school, and I was talking about how like most of the guys in my family, probably since sometime in the 70s, have been truck drivers.
Gotcha.
Now they didn't necessarily, get wise with it and go into business together and do things that they could have, but you did. You were passed down a legacy from your grandmother, and transportation continues to flow in the family. Did you ever get the chance to speak to your grandmother on why the transportation industry?
Unfortunately, I didn't. She passed away when I was around, I think I had to be like 9 or 10. I do still remember her. Her nickname for me used to be called Sweet Potato. Don't nobody know that. But yeah. So I wasn't able, at that age to really know what was going on. But my father was able to take it over from her and my aunt as well. And then it just went to me. So
okay. So as far as like all the different branches of everything that you have been doing, what made you decide that you wanted to focus on those different avenues of transportation? To
be honest, truthfully, I didn't want to do it in the beginning. I'll be honest with you. I didn't want to do it. At the time, just like, I was in Atlanta. So it was like, I'm working with celebrities, I'm working on music, I'm writing songs, I'm producing. So I'm like, I'm not trying to go back to Virginia. But, my dad called me one day and just like, hey, I'm thinking about getting rid of the business, you should come down. I'm like, I don't really want to do that. But I don't know, I think like I had went out there for a little bit, and I guess me being out there, I kind of was like, you know what, maybe maybe it's time to carry on the legacy. But I told my dad if I do it, I don't want to just do driving school because I feel like in my area in Virginia, in the Hampton Roads area, there's people that have other driving schools. We're the longest lasting one, but there are other schools there. And I was like, what else is the community needing out there that, other people could be, taking advantage of? And I was like looking at the system, I'm like, maybe I should open up a CDL school. So the more I started digging into it, I learned like majority of the people who own the school were, the opposite, persuasion. And I was, I just gotta be real, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, that's who, the demographic was that owned the CDL school. So it was like, I put everything together, and I, when I first got into the game, it was actually a lot of stuff going on, because, where I'm at in Virginia, it's a lot of like different racist stuff going on. So when I first opened the school, I didn't have a truck and trailer like for my school. I just had a building. And I was like, well, let me just teach the classroom part because I don't have a physical vehicle to train students. So I went to a competitor school and I was like, hey, I'll teach the classroom. You can do the in-vehicle part, just to help with the flow. And they said, I remember to this day, he was like, I'm not going to help you out. Let me know when you close N-word and I want to buy it from you when you close. And I'm sitting here like, bro, I'm trying to collab and work. I ain't know it was that deep. But it showed me in that moment, because he wanted a reaction. I was just like, okay, cool. I went about my day. But it showed me that he knew I was leaning into something that most people are not doing. So it was like, okay, this is the black man coming to say, hey, I'm thinking about opening up a school. Let's work together. I'm not gonna work with you because now you're exposing what our system is. Like even for different schools, they mess students up when it comes to their credit. Like if you don't pay, they'll try to mess up your credit. My school doesn't do that. So it's so many, man. I can talk about so many different levels of the game of how they really mess people up. Like when it even gets to people getting their CDL, because you'll get your CDL, but then now you got a $7,000, $20,000 loan that you only pay for maybe $5,500 or $4,500. Wow. So they're not showing them like, yo, you're gonna put yourself in debt, instead of showing them like, hey, this is different ways that you can do this.
That you can put it in your future New York's best-selling book.
You're right.
That you can write.
You're right. You're right. I'm gonna have to give a percentage for that.
I mean, and then when you come to the official BLK Talk studios to have that breaking interview, no Good Morning America. I mean, you can go on those, but BLK Talk Studios is going to, you got to come back. We're going to be in a different setup. It's going to be completely different.
I would definitely be here for that. I got my brother. I'll be.
All right, and then look, offline though, you're going to have to tell me, give me that guy's address. Cause, I mean, I don't know if you had your friends do it, but we going to have, like, you don't disrespect friends and family like that without any repercussions. Like, you might have been cool.
It's cool.
But, I mean, 8 years later, you've been very successful, and you're at the place now where you want to grow and expand into other cities. Now, first of all, starting something that was kind of unfamiliar to you, growing it to where you have today, and then making the decision to expand. Like, what is that thought process like?
I would say it's really rigorous. I think just like any situation, when you're doing business, nothing's going to be perfect. So I think the levels of business is once you kind of get the program going and you see, okay, I'm losing money in this. This is a expense. I can't do this. I can't do that. How can I make this shorter? How can I make this better? It's really working out the kinks on how your business works for the benefit of yourself and your team.
Okay.
Because, that's the main thing. Your team is going to be the whole thing that allots the whole situation. You have to have the right instructors. You have to have the right people with the right mindset. I even have a family member, my cousin. He even is I've seen a lot of CDL schools, but I feel like my cousin's hands down the best instructor CDL wise. He just knows it. And we young doing this. We not in our 40s, 50s, we young. And it's it's just having the right people around you, even for marketing. I have another, one of my best friends, he's one of my business partners as well, Clinton. He's he's one of those people too that really looks at stuff like, hey, you need to work on this with your brain, you need to work on this. And it's really just everybody working together to elevate. And I think if you have a lot of people that's like-minded, moving in the same pace, I think things get done way faster. Like I say a lot of times, like I don't find problems, I just find solutions. And I think that's a deep line. Like it's like, because we'll go into these different things like, oh man, I got to put money down for this. I got to do this. I got to do this. Okay, the solution is to do that. You see what I'm saying? So if you change your mindset of like, every problem is just going to have a solution. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's ground level and it's not nothing crazy. But the elevation is really like where I'm headed now. Like I've really like took the school and I worked the kinks out. Now I'm just like, hey, I can expand the schools and show people how to open up their own school too. So that's why I feel like that's the next thing that I'm pushing towards, like helping the community out, showing them like, hey, you can make 6 or 7 figures a year by just setting up a blueprint. But people don't know it. You see what I'm saying? So it's like me showing them this is gonna give people like, oh man, I didn't know you could do this. Then it just starts the ripple effect. That's all it does. So.
Now, you touched on the topic of team. A lot of people in their journeys to success, we all know that it's never something that you achieve by yourself. Right. Along that journey, there's always somebody that, you know, is there to guide you, there to assist you, there to, you know, whatever it is, there's always somebody else there. Now, for you, did you have that initial team in the beginning, or was that something that you had to build?
I would say I didn't have it necessarily in the beginning because, like I said, I didn't have a vehicle, so I didn't really need instructors and stuff like that. But as the time went on, I started learning I can't do everything by myself. You know, I gotta have an instructor, I gotta have a secretary, I gotta have this, I gotta have that. It's like you start looking at stuff like, you can't do this all by yourself because all you're going to do is burn yourself out. I think a lot of times in business, especially when you have a family or you have kids or you got different things you're trying to do, sometimes your business can be such of an overload, like mentally, that you zone out with other things in life. So it's like you got to have a balance of like, hey, like for me, I'm always accessible to my students Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday, I tell all of them I'm not responding. It just is what it is because you gotta have your time of snapping out of answering calls, and setting up meetings, you got to have your time mentally to be able to, you know, focus on whatever you're trying to do next or spend time with your family, whatever that is, but you have to have time to do that.
Now, for you, being a young Black entrepreneur who has made history, you know, what is it that you have found yourself doing to break away from like the Monday through Friday that you were just talking about, and to keep yourself mentally strong to, you know, continue doing what you've been doing?
I would say creating a routine where I ain't gonna necessarily say around a lot of people, but I've cultivated my life a certain way now where it's like, you only see me when you need to see me, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And I think that adds to a lot of it. I think we kind of lean our time towards a lot of things or a lot of people that's not surrounding what's the future. You see what I'm saying? Because I still have a lot of friends. I don't talk to them every day, but I have friends that I speak to occasionally, but I have an immediate circle that I'm going to talk to them every day because we're focused on this one particular goal.
Right.
So it's like, you know, just kind of making your life more minimum and not like overextending yourself too much. Because then I think that's when you burn out your creativity. You burn out your energy. It's like, I done gave all my energy to this. I got a whole team that I could just focus on, say, hey, I'm thinking about this idea. All right, what about this? What about this? We all come together and it's still a solution. Going back to what I said. Yo, I like the other day I called them about something like, hey, I got this, this. One friend said this, one friend said this, one friend said this. All right, cool, we found a solution, gone. Compared to the people I probably don't talk to every day, if I talk to them, they're not gonna know they're just gonna make their assumptions or give an example of something, but they don't know if they're not in that field or they don't know. It's just like, you know, but it's just being resourceful for your time.
So for you, how important is it to have purposeful connections? Because as you know, everybody that comes into your life, you know, some people, truth be told, don't add value. They're just around for a good laugh or whatever it is. But you, in the area that you're in, you're building a legacy that you can't let fall. You're doing things that you can't let fail. And you gotta have the right people around to continue to encourage you, to support you, because as we know, support is a big thing and we all need it. So for you, how important is it to have purposeful connections?
Man, it's very important. Even like, being out of Atlanta right now, I made like the right connections for something big. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and it's all about what you said, timing. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like at the time, I wasn't ready to come back to Atlanta yet. So it's like, sometimes you gotta like set up different things wherever you are in life and get everything aligned, and then it's like, yo, timing just be right. Like, it just be, you just go somewhere and then everything lines up, and then you be like, man, hold on, was this the right, But yeah, it's just really just, sitting back and really just setting up your main things that you need, because I feel like with timing, that's everything. It's just like, you have to have a structure no matter what. Mm-hmm. So it's just mostly just about you trying to figure out what's that next step, And sometimes you could be moving so crazy. Like for me, I just went to Invest Fest, and it literally was like, there's certain conversations just be like 1, 2, and it's like, whoa, hold on. So this the person know him, you know him. So we all, so we about to, all right, cool. It's literally just be like that. It just be the conversation because it's something different. People like things that are different and new. Mm-hmm. That's what I know. Like, once people start seeing a lot of things that's redundant, they get tired of it. They shun it to the side. Like, I done seen this before. I done seen this before. But the thing that you see new, it now changes the scope of how everybody views stuff and what they want to learn. So
everybody loves the new shiny toy. And that's probably why, like restaurants, say for instance, that's probably why so many restaurants here in Atlanta, because everybody's trying to outdo the model that came before them. So I definitely get it. So let's talk about family, because what I know is, family is a very important thing to you. You mentioned earlier about the company passing down through the generations, so that definitely means that an aspect of family is very tight. But when I met you, you were the music guy, but as I got to know you a little bit, I learned where that musical influence came and how important your family was and like helping to cultivate that. So let's talk about that and where most Black musicians come from, the church. So like your life started there.
Yeah, so I was playing drums and playing keyboard in church. My parents wasn't pastors yet. Now they're pastors, but during the time, I get a lot of my music instrumentation from my father. He plays literally everything. You just give him something, he gonna play it. So, but yeah, it really just came from the church background, playing in church, working on different stuff, and I just one day was like, that's what kind of brought me to Atlanta in the beginning, like years ago, where I was just like, I told my parents I'm taking a semester at, where was I at? I think it was at Thomas Nelson Community College. So I was taking a semester there. I'm doing music class, and I think I was like in my second or third week of class, and I was like, yo, my parents wasting this money. Because I just knew it. It was weird. It was like, I'm talented with this. I don't really need to be in class. I need to be like with the artists or the producers. And I was just like, man, like I know how to do this. I know how to read sheet music. I know how to do all this stuff. Why am I in here? So I told my dad, I was like, hey, I'm gonna move. I ended up moving to Cartersville, Georgia, with one of my aunts at the time.
Okay.
And then it just kind of went from there. I went there, came to Atlanta, a couple of different events. End up linking up with different people, and I'm not gonna say their name because I just not gonna say the artist's name. It's a couple different artists, but I end up linking with different artists through one of my homegirls, Cam. She does like hair and makeup, and she works with a lot of celebrities now and stuff like that. But yeah, I met a lot of artists through her, and I started producing for like a lot of people. So yeah, I got a lot of NDAs for a lot of records.
So for you, having the opportunity to get in the music industry in Atlanta? I'm sure that showed you something completely different than you saw in Virginia. So what do you think, like, your time in Atlanta's music industry scene taught you as a whole that you still use today? Because you still are in the music game.
I would say, because I have a record label now too, so I would say it just taught me how to be better with business. I think when I came to Atlanta, I was younger and I was very naive. So a lot of contracts, I didn't know what I was signing, you know. And I don't like that too. We'll talk about that in a second, because I be seeing a lot of producers or writers like, oh, I didn't know I signed a bad deal. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
They just didn't read it.
That's the main thing. I got the same issue with students doing that in CDL schools too. Like, they don't read the contract, then it be like other issues later. It's like, you done signed this.
But we all know people don't read. You see,
but that's why you need to read. That's why you need to read. Read a book. What was that Lil Jon back then? Read a book. Wasn't that the song or something like that? It was like,
I don't know.
But yeah, just like I would say, like, you know, just be more business oriented with just anything. You know, with people, it's not personal. Just like they always say, it's not impersonal. It's just business. Because at the end of the day, if your business is not handled, then people gonna take advantage of you. People can use you. They can do whatever because you're not in the position of any power of how you're going to dictate what goes on. So if you sign a bad production deal, songwriting deal, that's really on you. Like, I ain't trying to be funny, but I'm just tired of people like just, oh my God, I can't.
Other people.
Yeah, like, you can't blame nobody. Like, at the end of the day, this is 2023. At the end of the day, you gotta be responsible. That's it. We all grown. Once you pass that 18 mark, you grown. So if you signing something, more than likely you over 18, read the fine print. Go get an attorney. That's the biggest thing. Like, my sister, like, she's a big attorney at a big law firm in New York right now. And she'll tell me the same. If somebody hand me a contract right now, I'm sending it to my sister. I ain't even playing. Like, I am. Business first, and then everything comes seconds. But you got to have your business set up. I think that's the main thing. Like, you know, just be accountable. But have the business set up, get your contracts right, and read everything before you sign it. That's it.
So is there anything that you would have done differently during your initial, like, stint in Atlanta?
What I done differently? I don't think I would change anything. I don't think I would change anything for the simple fact I feel like that's where you get the lessons from. Because I feel like if I didn't, you know, go through that or meeting certain people, like, it's so many different things that could be. You know, like, would I still have went into the, you know, the trucking industry? Would I have got married with a dog or something? Like, you know, got married with a wife and then got a dog? Like, what is the...
I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah, like, married the dog. Nah, man, nah. But yeah, but it's just like, you know, when you think about stuff, it's just like, we can't rewind. That's why all the memories are great, because memories just bring back either good or bad memories. You see what I'm saying? But it also teaches you a lesson. Now, if you decide to listen to that lesson, you know, I don't mean to start preaching, but if you decide to listen.
I mean, it is Sunday.
That's
go for it. The people need it.
So, you know, if you listen, that's the, you know, you see things in your past and it's like you either work on it or you don't. And I do think, like, especially in the black space, I feel like mental health is important. Because I feel like we go through so much different trauma that things become so regular that they're okay. And it's not okay.
See, now, I was having a conversation with somebody, as a matter of fact, yesterday, and we were talking about the black household. And although, you know, it was something that taught us tightness and closeness of family and things like that, it's also something that hindered us. Because I was actually talking to my cousin, and we were talking about how now it seems like our family's so spaced apart. Everybody's going through things over here, but nobody feels connected enough where they can come to each other and talk. And I'm like, well, growing up, most people were told whatever's going on in this house, you keep it in this house.
Right.
So if I'm a child and I'm feeling something and I don't feel like I can go talk to my parents, then I'm just bottling it up. but then I don't feel like I can go talk to anyone else because my parents told me to keep the business in the house.
So I would say this. That is actually correct. I think the biggest thing in the black family is black family keeps too many secrets. Like that's a word for y'all today, secret. Like, and I think that's the issue. It's not that whatever somebody decides to do, that's on them. But I feel like we've cultivated this secret society of people who don't really keep secrets anyway. Like, not to say it like that, but when have you known in the black community for us to really keep a secret?
Somebody is gonna gossip.
So it's like you're trying to live up to something that you know everybody not gonna do anyway. They already know. So it's like if I think it's just more so people have to be just like more just realistic. It's just like and then I think too that was a different time. I think we're in a different time now where it's like you know, I have children. I'm not keeping secrets from them. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's certain things that they want to know, I'm just gonna be honest.
Now, have you brought your parents into that where you kind of changed their mindset on the things that they taught you and you know allowed them to see things in a different way?
Yeah, absolutely. Just on different things, like different views and stuff. I'm not gonna say which things or whatever, but there is different ways I view stuff and different things my parents view stuff because they were born in a different time. You know what I'm saying? Same way with like even for love, the way my parents love each other is different than the generation now of how we love each other. So totally two different worlds, you know, but it's just all about coexisting in the same world. That's it.
So for you, being a part of tradition and legacy and now having offspring of your own that hopefully you'll be able to pass everything down to, what goals do you have for like the next generation that you are responsible for creating?
I would say this because I think a lot of times, because my dad used to do that as well, like as far as like the legacy part of like, you know, continuing it on. I think like we're in a different time where it's like you want your kids to kind of choose their own destiny. And what I mean by that is like, you know, create as much as you can for yourself. You know, your kids are always going to be there, but you got to create it for yourself so they can have something. So it's like, you know, I don't know for sure if my kids would, you know, carry on the legacy or keep the business rolling if something was to ever happen to me. You know, eventually I'm setting up some trust for them and stuff like that, but if they decide to do it, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine too. Because at the same time, it's just like, you know, you just gotta kind of see it. It like a lot of people say you don't work for your first name, you work for your last name. So it's like I'm not working for all my kids' first names. I'm working because this is my last name. So whatever I'm gonna leave them, whatever I'm gonna do, it has to be up to par. So regardless if they join it or not, you know, financially, I'm pretty sure that they would probably be in a good space where they can now create something. Maybe they like the idea, because you got to think about it. You talking about what, 10, 20, 30 years? We don't know where the world would be at. So it's like, who's to say that that's like a niche that's even something they want to do? Or they might see it and say, okay, well, I've saved enough money, Dad, I'll take this and create this out of it because I like this part of it. Or, you know, it's just, you just let them, because that's one thing I've always, like, me and my dad, like, we're good in a good space now, but I think, like, it's that father and son. I think mothers and daughters do the same thing, but me and my dad used to bump heads a lot, you know, but it's only because I see stuff a certain way, he sees stuff a certain way, so I have the new generation of how I look at stuff, he looks at it, and that's okay. We both have two different worlds, but, you know, the more and more we kept working together, we found the balance of, like, now it's like if I kind of see an idea or something, my father's full support. Because at first it used to be conflict. But you got to have conflict to get to the solution. See what I'm saying? Like I told you, even if it's a problem, it's like, how do we work together to level everything up? So like when my father sees stuff now, he's just like so excited because he's like, man, you working with the mayor, you working with city council, you be doing this, you be doing. He's seeing everything going.
So you ain't going into politics, are you? We'll talk later. Because I don't know. I just that image
I plead the fifth. I don't know. I plead the fifth.
Now, when you talked about those trust funds, you might need to add another one for your godchild. For your godchild. We'll talk. Details coming soon. And no, you didn't hear it here first. But as you continue to develop, as you continue to expand and continue to grow, what are some of the things that you have not done that you are looking at, like, getting into?
Man, I really want to really get into the real estate side.
Okay.
Getting like some multifamily properties. I actually got a deal now for like bigger contract type of plays with real estate. So yeah, I'm really trying to dabble into that. Just expand my trucking business more, and then with the CDL schools just open up. I really want to have like CDL schools where like I'm on some McDonald's type of time. Because the way I actually look at my school, I actually like view it from that perspective. Like, you go to any state, you're gonna see a McDonald's. So, and it's not like the food is always gonna stay the same at McDonald's. They just change the color, they change the scheme, or they change the building, but the food is still the same. It never changed. So it's like once you kind of compartmentalize like that in your mind of like how it's going to be set up, it's like I'm moving into like some McDonald's time. Like I just see it a certain way.
So you're about to or do you want a franchise?
I plead the fifth.
Oh damn!
I plead the fifth.
But damn, on that too, you look, you get one more fifth, and that's it.
I plead the fifth on that one. I plead the fifth. We're not gonna go into that one, but I plead the fifth. But yes, but I mean, I think that's like the most realistic thing is to really franchise it. And I feel like I have all the right tools to do it. And I feel like, you know, I have a lot of different people I'm really like connected with, so I'm pretty sure it can rock.
Do you feel like you carry a lot of weight on your shoulders?
Man, all the time, bro. All the time. I ain't even gonna lie to you. All the time. But that go back to having, you know, your mental health right. You know what I'm saying? Like every week I always got mental health counseling. I got a counselor. Shout out to her. But yeah, like, you know, it's about having, like I said, you gotta have like zen to yourself eventually. You know, because when you gotta manage a lot of stuff, it's different. Like I remember like having so many different jobs where I was working for different people. Like I used to work at Walmart, call centers, overnight stocking. I used to unload trucks. So it's weird. It's like everything comes back full circle. Like I used to unload trucks. I used to work for this company called CMOS. I don't even know if it's still a company, but yeah, I used to unload trucks, man. I used to work at Office Depot. I just had a lot of jobs, but the difference was you go to work, you get your check. There's really no responsibility. When you start getting into management or actually owning your business, that's where it starts getting wild, because it's like you answering, like literally at school, I'm probably doing more than 50 calls a day. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm doing 50 calls. I'm probably meeting every week, probably close to about maybe 15 to 20 people, just different times throughout the week. And some register, some don't. It's just part of the game, but it's just like, that's already one step. Then I work with other entities to get testing started. I work with mechanics. It just be, just one day, it's just like, cause it be sounding cool. Like I hear a lot of people be like, man, I wish I had the thing you got. I'm like, I'll give it to you for a day.
But everybody doesn't have the same discipline, and that's the thing. Like you said, you've perfected your business model, so therefore you know how it should look and how it should run. Everybody don't have the discipline to make that happen. They just see probably the end result of what it could be, and they don't see what it takes to actually make it happen.
I agree.
But for you, like if you could look at maybe the 10-year-old you, or that 10-year-old boy, or that 18-year-old boy just trying to figure out what they want to do with their life, what kind of advice would you give them based off of your life's experience?
Do with their life. I would have told my 10-year-old self to invest in certain stocks and then move overseas.
Oh. Why overseas?
I just feel like it's different. Different culture, different food, different things. Like, I think here it's so generalized. There's just a lot of stuff going on. Like, alpha woman, alpha man, this stuff is just so boring. It's like, bro, like, life just, it's not even like that. You go overseas, they not even talk about this stuff. So it's just, it's difference of scenery.
Yeah.
You can wake up and be on the beach every day if that's what you want to be on.
Ooh,
You don't gotta be in LA to do that. You can go to Thailand. You can go to
Mhm.
Cartagena, whatever. I mean,
You sound like you ready to travel the world.
hey man, that's it.
So, for people who are currently in the Virginia area that are interested in the CDL classes, the trucking, and everything that you guys have to offer, give the people the information on how they can learn more and become students.
Oh, okay. Well, you can definitely reach out to the school. You can call us directly, 757-766-0500. We're on Warwick Boulevard in the Warwick Shopping Center. You can check us out on Instagram. My name is Thomas Dudley II. My driving school Instagram is Dudley's Driving Center Inc. Same thing on Facebook. You can reach me on Facebook. But yeah, just reach out to me, man. I give you the game. Trying to get your CDL. That stuff is easy. Like even for the school, like all the schools right now, they take like 2 months to get your CDL. My school takes 2 weeks. I'm on some different time. Like I've literally created something. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I'm so ahead of the curve that it's like by the time I finish this, they're gonna be like, yo, how did he figure this out a certain way?
So I'm gonna take off work for like 2.5 weeks. I'm going to Virginia and I'm gonna come back driving a big truck.
Hey man, that's you'll be in and out. I ain't even joking. I'm being dead serious. I ain't playing. Like, cause we're about to actually get what's called third-party testing. Cause usually we take students to DMV.
Mm-hmm.
When we get third-party testing, it's gonna make it even better. Cause now we can train you, test you out. You got your CDL instantly. Like I'm on some different time. That's why I said like creating my school and people not helping was perfect. Cause it gave me so much game where I'm about to change this whole thing up. That's why I said the franchise probably definitely coming next. Cause I'm on some different time and nobody would be able to do it that quick.
I need to go ahead and end this recording so that we can have this conversation. I'm telling you, stuff been going on through my mind. So look, I would like to personally thank Thomas Dudley, a.k.a. Tedii, a.k.a. Sweet Potato, for joining me here on BLK Talk. Make sure you guys tell your friends and your family about Thomas Dudley and everything that he has going on. And thank you guys for continuing to support BLK Talk. And we'll be back with another amazing episode soon. But before that, make sure you guys subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell, and all that good stuff. And we'll be back very soon with another conversation. And as a matter of fact, happy birthday, because this interview is airing today on his birthday. So happy birthday.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate y'all, man.
All right. And we'll be back soon with another episode of BLK Talk.
Let's go.